So right now, the weapons and even the best weapons that Russia produce, they all have in them Western components and Western know-how and Western materials. Well, it's the same with other countries like Sweden and France. You can't, even the United States has to buy know-how and some components abroad, but all other countries in the world cannot run it alone. That's impossible. So we have to cooperate with foreigners, though right now we have agreements with Israel, with France, with Germany, with Italy, to procure components, to procure know-how, to make joint ventures to build pieces of equipment.
But Mr. Fleckenhauer, we know Russia today is still a weapon exporter. It sells a lot of weapons and hardware to the rest of the world.
Sure, it is. But say the weapons, so I say some weapons we can produce. But say we can't produce modern drones. We don't have, even in those weapons that we say sell to India or China or Algiers, say fighters, Sukhoi 30s. They have foreign components on them, Western components, French, say, avionics. So Russia is not, the Soviet Union, it's not industrially, scientifically independent military power anymore. And that's a major change, and it has to be also accepted by the Russian military, the Russian public, the Russian defense industry. They can't go it alone, and that's very uneasy. That's against the psychology of the Russian nation, that we now have to buy abroad weapons, that we have to depend on foreigners.
Well, we know even the United States, the only superpower now, is planning to cut back on its defense budget and cut those contracts of Raptor F-22 and many advanced weapons. So what is Russia thinking about this? Will it shrink its national defense budget or will it expand it?
There has been, since Vladimir Putin became president in '99, there has been an almost tenfold increase in defense spending. And defense spending is continuing to grow. There have been a major allocation. There's a new rearmament program for 10 years to spend about $700 billion for new weapons. So money is being allocated, and hopefully we will have some rearmament in the future, and we'll have a more modern military, especially, I mean, there are problems with communications, with computers. This is still a very strong military in the sense it has a lot of good hardware. I mean, it can kill people. But it's not good for precision warfare, the one that's right now performed by the best Western military.
We've just seen President Dmitry Medvedev and also Prime Minister Vladimir Putin sitting on the podium reviewing the troops. And I have a question about the Russian politics. There's going to be an election next year. What is your reading? What is a prediction about the election next year? Who will run for president?
Well, that's a big question. There's no one right now in Russia can answer except Putin and Medvedev themselves, and they're not safe. But in recent months there has been increased kind of tension between the Kremlin, with the team of President Medvedev, and the Russian White House, the seat of the Russian government, the team of the Prime Minister. Though right now it's clear that they still continue to have a good personal relationship, their teams are sort of pushing each other in preparation for a possible kind of maybe even showdown or political showdown, who becomes the next president, and will the present arrangement of a president and prime minister, kind of dual tandem, as it's called in Russia, system continue, or one will take over and become the undisputed leader of Russia. Prime Minister Putin has just declared that he wants to create a national front that would unite left and right in the run-up to the elections for parliament next December.
All right.
This would seem that he wants to keep a very serious political